All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Williams Lake Community Safety Information Gathering session. Thanks for taking the time to come out on a Wednesday evening on a hot day. And I'd like to welcome everyone here. My name is Mike Simpson, and I will do a short introduction in a moment, but I'm here as your moderator for tonight. I've been asked by the City of Williams Lake to moderate this forum. I'd like to acknowledge here in the city of Williams Lake, we're on the unceded traditional territory of Williams Lake First Nation, Hatsooth First Nation, and Chakwapnakulu in the larger area. And just to clarify what our purpose of tonight's meeting is to gather information. That's really it. I want to make sure that we're clear about that. It's information gathering. We want to invite community members and businesses to share concerns and ideas related to public safety in the city and identify also areas for improvement and potential solutions. What tonight's meeting is not about is also as important as what it is about. What it's not about is to come to solutions. We want to hear ideas and gather info, and maybe some of those are solutions. But we don't have to come to agreement on things. And the purpose of tonight is also not to ask questions of mayor and council or the MLA who's online or the MP that's going to be joining us shortly. We're here to gather info. And so just to be really clear that, this is not the mayor and council and the MP and the MLA will have a chance to make a few statements at the beginning, at the end, but it isn't a question and answer. This is really your night tonight to give input that we want to hear. So who am I and why am I here? I'm here because I'm impartial and I've been asked to moderate this forum because it's a sensitive topic for sure. But my background is I'm a facilitator. I moderate a lot of public processes and controversial topics and a lot of these things. I'm based in Kamloops right now, but I lived in Williams Lake and I know your community and I know a lot of the people and the issues, and I still have lots of work I do here and lots of friends that I know that call here home. I lived here from 1994 to 2011 and then moved down to Kamloops with my family, but and except for a short stint in the South Cariboo. So this community is still near and dear to my heart, and so I'm honored to be asked to help moderate tonight's forum. I would like to next ask Mayor Rather and Councillors Moses and Nelson, to say a couple of brief opening comments about, the purpose of tonight, and then I'll go to MLA Doerkson online, and then MP Doherty if he arrives. So, Mayor Rather.
Thank you, Michael. Good evening, fellow citizen. It's a great honor to be sitting with you and receiving the input from you. I don't want to repeat anything but Mr. Simpson has said. I want to thanks to the staff organizing this, Mr. Simpson, and in fact to you. We've been working on this issue. This is not only with the William Lake. Being said that does not mean me and my council and the senior staff can walk away. With your help, we'll deal everything. We have dealt everything. To date, I feel honored letting you know already, there's not a one thing sitting on my table which was not delivered positively. If you didn't talk to me, I can't help it. That's a different story, okay? I'm looking forward for your input. We'll go with the information you give us tonight, we'll be going to Victoria, and I know with the help of our MLA and our Member of Parliament, we should be here soon, we will deliver everything we can. There's nothing we cannot do it long as we stand together and work together. And my theory, working together, has proved, and let's prove it again. Please, being respectful, tell us what should we do, what you want us to do. I'm sure we'll do it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you everyone for coming tonight. I think we can agree that our goals for our community and meetings just like this one are to achieve community safety. Ideally, with an approach of humanity, caring, and an evidence-based approach. From what I can tell, this is going to take a combination of many things, including policing, courts, housing, recovery beds, and support for services from groups like our own Social Planning Council, the Canadian Mental Health Association, the Women's Contact Society, and so on forth. There's so many other nonprofit organizations that will require our support for this as well. This means that more than ever, we're going to need coordination from all forms of government and nonprofits if we want to achieve the changes that we are hoping for in our community safety. And how we can get this coordinated work done is what we're hoping to hear some feedback from you tonight on how we can do this approach. So your presence here, we're very grateful for. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The public's pissed off. They want a safe community. And this soft approach that we have taken over the last 4 years in terms of trying to ensure that we have got a community that is safe, to the decriminalization of drugs, to a lack of facilities for involuntary treatment, has failed us. Quite honestly, failed us. Williams Lake, like so many other communities, are on the front lines of a war zone. There's 30, 40 people here. One of you could be walking outside tonight and get hacked by a guy, and your life will be technically challenged for the rest of your life. That guy would probably go to jail, be put back onto the streets, juiced up and put back on the streets. There are people today in Williams Lake that simply should not be on the streets. And it comes down to one thing. It's called public safety. This community has supported every single program in the nonprofit agencies for 20 years. Not a single program that we have not supported. I can tell you there's $12 to $15 million worth of damage in the last 5 years that has been caused from either marquee being burnt down, from other facilities being burnt down, jobs lost. And yet, you know what? They're put back onto the street. So there's some issues and there's some challenges. And it's really up to you to kind of give us the guidance. And that's really what I'm looking for, because I'm law and order. And I think personally, I'm going to tell you right now that it's been a little bit soft. And we need to be a little bit more caring and hard at the same time for a number of these individuals that should not be on the streets. There are people that are on the streets today that simply should not be on the streets. So it's ensuring that we have the right facilities. And guess what? In Williams Lake, we don't have those facilities. So that means putting them into a different area, into a facilities where there's involuntary treatment. So I'm looking tonight to hear from you in terms of public safety and really the direction that you want council to take and the angles and the opportunities and the approaches to really make Williams Lake a much more safer community. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mayor and Council. Now, before I go to MLA Doerkson online, I just want to also introduce the rest of the table up there. To the mayor's left is the chair of the Cariboo Regional District, Margo Wagner. And to Councillor Nelson's right is the city administrator, chief administrative officer for Williams Lake, Gary Maraca. And then we have Brad McKinnon, who's the RCMP staff sergeant, Evan Dean, fire chief, manager of protective services, and Sylvia Dubray, who is, I just had it up, community wellbeing and safety coordinator. So those are the folks who helped put together tonight's session. MLA Doerkson, would you like to say a few opening comments?
Yeah, thank you very much. First off, it's Lorne. Secondly, thanks to everybody in the audience for being here tonight. This is a very serious situation, of course, that's been developing for a few years, obviously, in our community. I just want to thank the city for the invitation to be here tonight. I'm sorry, terribly sorry that I can't be in Williams Lake with everybody, but I just want everyone to know that I agree completely with what Mayor Rather mentioned with respect to that collaboration that's been happening at all levels. My last question and question period came really from a conversation with the city and a couple of other folks regarding an assault of one of our police officers. And I was just shocked to find out that that individual was released really in about 6 or 7 hours. And I think even the minister, when she answered that question, I think she too was shocked that this is happening in our community. I can appreciate it's happening everywhere, but we work here and live here. And so this is the community that I'm really focused on. And I just wanted to thank the city for the collaboration. Thank MP Doherty as well for the work that he's done in the federal house. And really want to thank our community for being here. And again, apologies that I'm not there in person. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, Lauren. So I'm going to ask the technical folks if you want to bring up the presentation that we have, and I'll explain what that is in a minute. But just to add a couple of things to the purpose and just building on, the comments from the elected officials, these are complicated issues, for sure. And they're not unique to Williams Lake, but you guys care about the ones that are happening in Williams Lake. Some of these things that you're going to voice concern about tonight, I think as noted, are within the city's control, but a lot of them are not. They're provincial or they're federal jurisdiction. And so that's why MLA Doerkson is here tonight. MP Doherty is on his way, and we'll get him to say a few comments towards the end as well. I just want to also note too that, having a public open forum and collecting input and trying to figure out how to address these things, not every community is doing that. And as I was talking with the staff that were organizing this, I think this is only about the 5th community that's done this, recently. And these challenges are common everywhere. So kudos, for getting input and wanting to hear this input. The other thing I just wanted to clarify too tonight for when we do invite you up to the microphone, and I'll go over some ground rules to keep things respectful in a bit, is we're talking about the city of Williams Lake. We know we have people from the broader area here, but really for tonight, this is the city jurisdiction and the city boundaries that we're looking for. Okay, so if we have the presentation ready, what staff did, and a lot of you, because you're here, maybe you did the survey already, but what we're going to present for the next 15 minutes or so is a summary of what we've already heard from a survey that the city initiated about a month ago, back in June, I believe it was, 2nd or 3rd week of June. And I want to clarify, if you haven't noted already, this survey will be open till the end of July. There's a QR code. You can scan it and get it on your phone here tonight. It's on the city website, but also there's paper copies of the survey if you want to fill it in and do it, by hand and not do it electronically. What we're going to present to you tonight is based on what I got from Sylvia as of about a week ago. It's 110 responses to the survey so far. And what we're going to do is just walk through the feedback that we've heard, sort of the top 10 comments for each question. And the numbers after each comment are the frequency, like out of 110, like how many times that comment was heard. So you'll notice that like number 1 is the most common, then it goes down from there. What I'm going to do is not read verbatim. I'm going to leave these up, and I'm hoping that everyone can see these pretty clearly, and leave it up for you to read, for a minute or so. So it's always hard to judge how fast or slow people read, but just in a nutshell, so top 10 concerns: open drug use, number 2, homelessness, 3, feeling unsafe, 4, calls for mandatory treatment, incarceration, more punishment, 5, crime, theft, 6, lack of mental health challenges, supports, 7, insufficient policing and patrols, 8, fire, 9, needles, and 10, vandalism. So that was, the first question in terms of like the key community safety concerns. So I'm going to ask maybe next slide. So the second question, and what we're showing here is what's your experiences and perceptions of safety? Give that a read. So again, just a summary, the most common response, 65, was open drug use, public intoxication, homelessness, blocking doorways, encampments, feeling unsafe, needles, fires, theft, perceived inadequate emergency response, repeat offenders, mental health, lack of public amenities, parents and children exposed to things on, playgrounds, and traffic road safety crossing concerns. Okay, next slide, please. I hope I'm not going too fast. So the next question, I'll let you read it, is summary of how safety concerns are affecting daily life. So what we've heard again so far from the 110 responses that compiled this, safety and fear was the #1 concern affecting daily life. Second, impact on businesses, theft, vandalism, fires, temporary shelters and storefronts. #3, the emotional and social toll. And #4, behavioral changes. So what are people doing? They're avoiding downtown. They're driving past things instead of stopping. This is affecting, people's daily lives. Okay, next slide, please. So the next one summarizes what residents want leaders to understand. The question was, if you could sit with mayor and council for 5 minutes, what would your message be? And so these are the actions that people wanted to see prioritized. So I'll just summarize each of those briefly again. So #1, short term, visible patrols, foot patrols, more enforcement of bylaws, target those prolific offenders, improve lighting and surveillance. #2, service changes, relocate, redesign things. #3, system advocacy. Again, as noted, press for provincial and federal partners to do things. And I'd like to welcome MP Doherty, who's joined. #4, community measures, small scale downtown improvements, lighting, balanced public messaging to avoid fear mongering. #5, urgent public pressure for action. #6, council is asked to pursue a combined strategy, safety, but also deterrence, and look for support from the province. Okay, so next slide, please. So this one asked progress and challenges. What are the most common areas where you feel safety is improving? And so this is what we heard. So again, number one, general downtown daytime activity, community events. Some people, that was the most popular response, that where some things are improving. Number two, areas where there is increased policing or private security, that's improving. Number three, specific public facilities or programs. Number four, Botanio and other parks during the daytime where there's programming or activities that are present. And number five, cleanup efforts, such as the Business Improvement Association. Okay, next slide, please. So this question asked where public safety is getting worse. Where do you feel that there still continues to be challenges? So again, just to summarize, top number one response was downtown. I'm looking at the numbers, 74 compared to 24 in the previous slide said it was getting better. So keep that in mind. Second, where things are still challenging, Botanio Park, other parks. Number three, areas around businesses, alleys, lots of activities happening. Number four, schools and areas around children's routes to and from school, and public spaces at night in the less populated areas. Okay, next slide, please. Opportunities for improvement. So one of the questions, again, 110 people were so far responded. What's the summary of actions that residents most frequently identified to improve community safety? So these are the ideas. So hopefully you've had a chance to read those. So ideas, increase visible enforcement, remove repeat offenders, expand treatment and supports, housing and shelter, relocate downtown service delivery out of the core, target arson, property crime, improve the public realm, increase outreach, advocate, coordinate with the province, the feds, the courts, and have a clear community safety plan to improve communication. So that's what we've already heard. So next slide, please. So this question asked what community safety means to residents. How do you define safety? How does it influence your experience, how you move in the community, and what you do? So those first words in each response really, sum it up. People want to feel safe, comfortable, protected, proud, free, trusting, connected, confident, and respected. Who wouldn't want that? Okay, next slide, please. So this slide is in the top, in the orange, a summary of what residents feel is working well. So just to summarize, RCMP, police presence, neighbors, Rotary, downtown clean teams, lots of things are working well. Security guards at banks, grocery stores, public events are working well. Community volunteers, neighborhood watch things, neighborhood level safety, and supportive services and shelters. And then the next slide summarizes where there's opportunities for further improvement. I think similar to some of the previous questions, lack of adequate mental health supports, addictions and treatments, repeated calls for more services, 24/7, open drug use, major concern about visible public drug use, repeat offenders, insufficient enforcement, frustration with the justice system. Again, that's obviously not a city controlled issue. Downtown core issues, calls for other agencies, which we have a few of here tonight in the audience, need for more housing options, insufficient bylaws and enforcement, public hygiene, lighting, and social stigma as well are some concerns. Okay, next slide. And that is our QR code. So again, if you haven't done the survey, that's another option, another way to give your input, as well as the next step that we're going to do is invite people up to the microphone to speak and to give their input. But just to be clear, the survey's been open for about a month now, and it's going to be open till July 31st. And again, there's the QR code. When we take it off the screen, it will also be here in the room. It's on the website. There's also paper copies if you want to do it old school as well. So what happens next? What we wanted to do was let you know that's the input that we've already heard. And the rest of most of the evening, for about an hour 15, till we go to some closing comments, is your opportunity info gathering. We want to hear more input. What have we not already heard in those answers? Is there additional input that isn't captured? Is your perspective not there? So we want to invite people up to the microphone at the front, but what we're suggesting is just some basic ground rules to keep things civilized. So, we don't have a huge crowd here tonight, but what we would ask is if you do come to the microphone, keep your comments, maybe do a couple of minutes. The other thing is be hard on the issue, not on a person. So if you're going to make comments, we don't want it aimed at any one particular individual, any one particular group, whether they're in the room or not. Let's try to be respectful with their input. If you have ideas for solutions, that'd be great, but we want to hear any and all input within that scope of what we're talking about, public safety. I would also ask people, please no cheering or jeering. If you don't like a response, if you don't like a comment, or no cheering for what you do like. More voices, fewer words, I always like to say. So again, keeping in mind that if everyone wants to come up and have 2 minutes, that's probably, our whole evening. And we will end at 8. So keep in mind that survey is still open, so there is that chance. And so my ask is, anything that you didn't already see on the screen that you want City Council to hear, now's your chance. So I'd invite people to come up to the microphone and share any comments. He could do that. Sure. I was going to ask him to do that at the end, but because he arrived a bit late, MP Doherty, do you want to say a couple of comments? And Sylvia has a microphone for you.
Hi, everyone. I just want to apologize first for being late. I will also apologize to the police because I broke every land speed record to get from the Prince George Airport here. I just landed from Ottawa. I'm really proud of our community for doing this. And I thank Scott and Mayor Mayor Rather and Mayor Moses and all of our councillors that are here. You know, it is every day that we get a message about the crime that's going on in our community. All we need to do is take a look around our community. It's not the same as it was growing up. I know that. It's not the same as it was 10 years ago. Our communities are war zones. Williams Lake is not unique to that. Prince George just announced over $30 million in damages over the last 4 years from fires and vandalism. We have businesses that are relocating or even closing the doors in Prince George altogether because they can't pay their insurance premiums. They cannot afford to replace a window or a door. Businesses that are completely been burnt out and not rebuilding. The truth of the matter is it's not a police issue. It's not a paramedic issue. It's not a firefighter issue. It's not a first responder issue. It's not even really a municipal issue or a provincial issue or a federal issue. It's an us issue. It's a mental health issue, I believe. Until we start treating mental health and addictions in parity with physical health, you're going to continue to see this until we start stop that revolving door of justice. You know, we have people that are committing serious crimes, prolific offenders over and over and over again, only to be released out within hours. In Prince George, again, we have a senior that was returned home late one night or one afternoon to find his house being ransacked. So he tried to stop the perpetrators of this event. And he was ran over, drugged down his own road, lived in a rural setting, drugged down his own road, left for dead. Now those perpetrators were found, they were caught, and they were released within hours of that event taking place. All the while, this senior was airlifted to Vancouver to face life-threatening injuries and multiple surgeries. Now that went to trial just about a month and a half ago, and the perpetrators were released. Charges were dropped. Time and time again, we're seeing that. We've fallen as a society where it's okay to attack a police officer. It's okay to attack a paramedic or a first responder or a nurse. We have to kind of take back control of our communities. And I applaud our community for coming together and doing that. It's important to be here. Thanks, Mike, for putting together this. But I have to say that I'm disappointed. I thank all of you for being here, but I expected this to be like a full house. And I expected it to be about not just 100 respondents. Because I can't go into a store. I can't take an email or social media or a call without getting blasted about the state of our communities. So how come there's only 127 respondents? How come there's only a handful of people here? So I applaud you all for being here tonight. I'm thankful for this. And I think as we move forward, we're going to find some solutions as to how we move forward with this. So thank you.
Thanks, MP Doherty, and thanks for being here for those comments. And based on that, what I would suggest is, maybe everybody that's here can share this QR code, bring some paper surveys, encourage your neighbors, your friends, your colleagues to respond. Because there's not many people here tonight, but there still is that opportunity to answer this survey for another 2 weeks. We know it's the middle of summer, but it's that opportunity to get the input. So again, folks, this is now your opportunity. I'd invite you up to the microphone if you want to share some input that you want council, mayor and council to hear. And my ground rules for mayor and council is they're listening, they're not responding. But I do want to note that Gary Maraca, the city chief administrative officer, and RCMP Sergeant McKinnon may, clarify a couple of things or respond if there's like something that they can answer. Not every comment, but they are there to provide some input if needed. Come to the microphone, sir. Come right up. Oh, and I also want to clarify, this is being recorded, just so that you know. Go ahead, sir.
My name's Carl Johnson. I have a store. This is really difficult to come up here. My store is under attack. Last night, for somewhere between 6 and 12 hours, addicts people with mental issues were lined up in front of my store. And in the middle of the night, around 11:20, one of them decided that another one of my windows needed to be broken. So he kicked and kicked and kicked, and it didn't break. So then he got rocks and he belted the rock through the window. So now, I mean, my solution is Trump. Trump closed the border. He stopped people from coming into the US. We're spending billions of dollars investing in our military. Let's get the military into our cities. Let's bring them out. Let's have them patrolling in the evenings. And I think some people would disappear. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir, for sharing your story. Sorry to hear for what you're going through. And thank you for that input. And again, folks, we're just receiving input tonight. So any and all ideas, any and all comments. Go ahead, sir. Just come up to the mic. And if people want to line up, feel free. RCMP McKinnon?
Carl, thank you for that information and know that your concerns are heard. The individual responsible for that is in jail right now. I just want to make sure you're aware of that, and they will be held to the fullest extent of the law.
Okay. Thank you, Brad, for that. Go ahead, sir.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Rafiullah Sahibzada. I live here in Williams Lake. Came here about in 2019.
Speak right.
Came here in Williams Lake in 2019. Like whenever you hear in the news the statistics for Williams Lake in crime, they show like they are way up there. My observation is it's not our justice system or our council or the criminals out there. We need to look at the root cause of this issue. The root cause is broken family system. We have parents who are out there making money to feed their families. They leave their kids out there playing all these horror, full of violence, these games. They grew up with these mentality that killing, damaging properties, these are just game. This is our new generation, how we are raising them. Parents are not taking care of their children, not teaching them. Mother is the first institution for a kid to learn. Our mothers, they don't know how to raise kids. My generation, when we were growing up, our parents taught us respect, respect, respect for everybody. And that's what we don't see now. Parents are also disrespectful. They're fighting with each other. Kids watch them and they learn the same thing. So we need to come to the root cause, take our own responsibility, teach our children respect for everything. And the laws in our country, they are not strict. Releasing the criminals within 24 hours back on the street is not something should be happening. If somebody has committed a crime that's like damage of property, why should he be released on the street back? We need to strengthen our laws. Our MP, Mr. Doherty, he could work on this in the parliament and work for strengthening our criminal laws. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your input. So what I'm hearing you say is laws aren't strong enough, but the key thing is respect and sort of how we're raising children. So thank you for your input. Folks, feel free. The microphone is open. If you want to come down, what's not already captured? What else do you want to have city council hear?
John Dell, local business owner. I just had two things that came to mind. One was what Michael Moses was talking about earlier.
Right
about-
into the mic.
Right. About all the different programs that are in place and all the different things that are going on in the community. Has there been anybody sat down and actually figured out how much money we're spending in Williams Lake on all these services? Okay, because one of the first things that should be looked at is to reorganize your money and try to use it in different formats to get what you can do. But if you take all the provincial, the federal, and municipal health, all of them, if you add it all together, how much money are we spending in Williams Lake to try to deal with this problem? Okay, that's my first question. The second point is there anybody here from the judges? Is there anybody here from the justice system? Why not? Okay, that's where some of the problem seems to be coming from. And they should be sitting in, listening to what these people have to say. So they also are aware of what's going on. Okay, we can't leave them in an ivory tower. They need to become part of this process. So why isn't a judge here? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, John. I'm not sure if Gary or Brad wants to answer that, but questions. Are the dollars on programs, where are they going? Is it being spent wisely? And then are the courts not here? So would you gentlemen like to comment on those?
Yeah, thank you. So we have not tabulated the amount of money in its entirety of what we contribute to different agencies and different acts. It's all separate, like for public works or fire department. But that is a question that we will take back and report as part of our report back to council when we summarize all the comments and all the survey results. We'll come back with actual figures to what we're spending locally, then we'll reach out to provincially and federally and just make sure we know what they're spending in Williams Lake. Okay. As for the judges, I think that council's been very clear that the justice system, Crown Council, that is a big part of what the problem is. And I think that council's been very consistent advocating to senior levels of government, as well as the provincial government with Nikki Sharma, et cetera, about holding people that are accountable for these acts and stuff like that and making them stay behind bars or in treatment longer than they have been. It's actual fact that people are getting released very quickly after they get arrested. The police are arresting them, they're out within hours, and it's consistent. So.
Okay, thanks. Brad, anything to add to that? Not that you have to.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Dell. Thank you for your comments. In the event people aren't aware, our justice system is made up of 3 very distinct silos, and those silos will operate in some type of collective measure, but they all also operate independently of one another. And those silos are policing. We have our court system and we have corrections. And that autonomy is vital to how each operates. And I can speak to you tonight and answer questions related to the policing piece, but I'm not in a position to comment on the other 2 silos because they're not my portfolio, right? So thank you.
Okay, thanks, gentlemen, for that. Ma'am, come to the microphone, and then folks, anything else anyone wants to share, feel free to come up.
I was actually just wondering if there was anyone here from the ministry. No?
Well, they may not want to identify themselves, but yeah.
So I have a 13-year-old boy who is totally under control, and the ministry put them with a 95-year-old woman who cannot help this kid at all. They will not help. So I'm just wondering why they're not involved in this either, because that's a good start when they're young to get them help then. So that's it.
Okay, thank you for your comment, ma'am. MP Doherty, elected folks will have a chance to comment at the end. Well, that's not really how we're set up for tonight, but you can have a comment at the end. Okay. Yeah, there's a couple. Okay. But again, folks, I want to note that they're in the audience. They weren't the organizers, but if people want to talk one-on-one after, feel free. Any other comments? Anything else you want to make sure that mayor and council hear as they're collecting this input on public safety in the community as they go to, different conventions throughout the year, talk with the MPs, talk with the MLAs. Yes, go ahead, ma'am.
My name is Nicole. My husband and I, Chuck, own a business in town.
Can you
I've
speak
been here
right
for-
into the mic?
Sorry. We've lived here for about 46 years. Todd, when you were saying that you were surprised the amount of people that weren't here, I'm surprised the amount of people that are here because people have given up. There's nothing that we can do. It's the same old song, same old dance. I understand there's mental health. I understand there's drug addiction. My heart breaks, my heart bleeds for these people. But when does it become the onus on them? Why is it always on us? They've got about 40 to 50 people who are literally have our entire community in whatever they want to do, they can do. It's frustrating.
Okay, thank you, ma'am, for sharing your frustration. Oh, mic drop. Okay, no worries.
I will speak again, probably. I would suggest if the council or our council can establish a mental health facility in the Williams Lake Hospital, like a unit in which all those people are admitted until they're basically healthy back to be released into city or to our community. That would be a solution to the problem. Just basically like put all the mental health issue, the people with mental illnesses, put them in the unit, in that hospital unit, and provide cure, medicine until they are healthy, and the doctors find out that, yeah, they are fit to go back to the normal life. That would be one solution. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. So you're suggesting maybe involuntary care, and I know that's coming up province-wide. Folks, is there anyone else who wants to share some input? Make sure that mayor and council knows what your concerns are. Come on down, sir.
So I don't have a huge dog in this fight because I'm disabled and I spend most of my time inside my house. But I did notice people talking and saying things like, this is a war. And when we talk about things like this is a war, we're kind of saying those people are our enemies. And I think we have to remember that these people, as much damage as they've caused, as much stress as they've put on everybody, they are still our brothers. They're still our citizens and they're not the enemy. So we should try to put that a little bit farther away and put more focus on bringing them back into the fold, giving them a way to, when they're ready, make up for what they've done, like community projects and stuff, rather than putting this as these are the enemy, they need to be shut down and locked away. When we do that, also, we make it harder for those people to want to come to us and get help because they just think, well, those guys are just gonna treat me like shit because everybody treats me like the enemy, like shit, basically. Yeah, I just wanted to point that out. It doesn't seem healthy.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So what I'm hearing you say is, let's be careful of the language we use, and we're all human, and and treat people with respect. Go ahead, ma'am.
Feels really weird to face them, not you guys. So Ruth Lloyd, I'm just here as a citizen as well, but I'm also a member of Citizens on Patrol. And I just wanted to say that you are not powerless. You can join us because there are not enough of us. And we go out, and it's a great way to empower yourself and reconnect with your community, get to know some of the people out there. And the more of us there are, the safer our community is going to be, because there are very few of us and we can't be out there all the time, but there's almost 40 people in here. So if all of you did one patrol a month like we do, then imagine how much coverage we would get. It makes a big difference, and I think it matters, and I think there is something that we can all do. And I know it's a small step, but I was here in the 90s when Williams Lake was the crime capital. And, you know, we did a really in-depth, broad, multifaceted, community-based approach. And people came together and we chose to take back our community, and it worked. I mean, it's not simple, and it takes a lot of people and a lot of input from all these important people that have skills and knowledge. But I think, you know, let's try not to say that there's nothing we can do, because I really hope you feel like you can do something. So if you want to join community policing, Citizens on Patrol, we'd love to have you.
Okay, thanks, Bruce. Bruce, I have a follow-up question for you. So you're asking the audience for that. What's your one request or message to City Council?
One request. I mean, you know, this town dies after 5 p.m. It's a ghost town. And anything that we can do to breathe life back into it makes such a huge difference. When I'm at performances in the park, that's not a question yet, I get that. But when I'm at performances in the park, that changes the atmosphere of that park. And maybe Brad can speak to some of what he sees, because he probably has a lot of knowledge of some of this. But you know, getting people out there and breathing life and supporting the businesses in ways that get people out there, so that it's not just all on the businesses to pick up the mess, because we've basically abandoned that town overnight, is kind of how it feels when I'm down there patrolling at 2 a.m. I mean, I'm doing my part, but I'm only one person. I can only see so much. So, you know, anything that you can do to support growing our downtown life. And, you know, we shouldn't be just a highway stop town. You know, there's so much potential here. This area is amazing, and we know that. We've got mountain bike trails that people come from all over to use. We've got a really great campground that's so close to the downtown, but we've got no clear connectivity to the downtown. And all those people would probably love to come and check out our downtown if we had a really great way to connect to downtown easily. They could leave their RV and take their e-bike up.
Great.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Ruth. So call for participants, Citizens on Patrol, request to City Council, breathe life into the city after 5 p.m. There was a request, Brad, for a comment from Ruth. I'm not sure if you wanted to comment.
Thanks, Ruth. A few weeks ago, we had our stampede. We had an injection of thousands of additional people to our community. We had very few problems, right? Things were happening all hours of the day and night, and it made our spaces, our public spaces, busy and vibrant. We were well resourced from a policing standpoint for that, but I think there is some merit to that comment. If it's being used for lawful and appropriate things, people tend to stay away who may be there to engage in different activities. So, well thought.
Folks, any other input? Anyone who has a thought that they want to come up to the mic and share, make sure that Mayor and Council hear your concerns, your ideas around public safety.
Mike, I just think it's important to note that although maybe some of the agencies aren't here, they have all been collaborated with for this purpose of this meeting. They all would love to be here. We just wanted to make sure it functioned appropriately, and any kind of responses that we compile at the end of this will obviously be done in collaboration with those groups and the great work that they do. I mean, there's no representatives from the ministry, like with the exception of obviously Lorne and Todd, but there are staff here, and staff are just doing what they're supposed to do, and they do great work in our community. They're your neighbors and everything like that. So I think that it's kind of productive to make sure, or to involve them and have them have to justify what they're doing, because they do what they're supposed to do and they do great work. So anything we do and any reports we generate will be in collaboration with them.
Okay, thanks for adding that, Gary. So I'm going to look through the audience again, folks. Anyone else want to share any input? Anything that you didn't see on that survey screen that you want to make sure that gets captured? Yeah, go ahead.
So I'll try this again. I want to say that I've got a great store downtown Williams Lake, and we're having like the best year ever. We're just having to deal with this issue every single day. And I don't think we should have to. And I love Citizens on Patrol. I mean, they're the, you see them. Like about last night, there's so many things in my mind, so it's difficult for me to get it all out. But last night, all these people were doing drugs in front of my store, and the police can't come onto private property, is what I was told today. That's a problem. And they're lining up there. There was like 6, 8, 10 of them. I mean, somebody should have seen them last night. However, I understand that the RCMP had 36 calls during the evening, so they were quite occupied. Our town is occupied. I think we need to occupy back. I think the military is a solution. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments again, sir. So we're going to see, is there anyone else we haven't heard from? See, we're getting into repeat, so go ahead, but keep it brief, but I think maybe we'll wrap it up if there is no other new input.
Just want to say, like, as I mentioned before, we need to have like a mental health unit in the hospital for the people. And some people disagree with such statement or such unit. They think that it would be forced treatment for people who don't want it. But why do we take bitter pills when we are sick? When we don't want to take it, but they're so bitter, taste bad, but we take it. Why? To get better. So this would be like putting them in the mental health unit forcefully, like a bitter pill taking us. So we think about us, and that's, I think, what needs to be done to bring this community back to life, to get rid of the issues. I work just across from the Botano Park in the government building. I come out at lunch, I walk, all these people are there, and they joke with me, I talk to them, and they call me brother, and we talk, we laugh with each other. They're not bad people, just they need help. And they need some attention and love and care. That's all they need. And when we treat them, they have their mental state comes back to normal. They are good people to live with us. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir, again for reiterating that idea about, involuntary mental health care. Yeah, go ahead, ma'am. So I'm looking for new people with new ideas, things we haven't heard. Come on down.
Hi, everyone. My name is Anna Chibata. I want to just bring some update regarding a new programs that launched this April 2026. So I'm a supervisor of community-based employment services. So it's like Borg BC key component of pre-employment services. And what the idea is, we try to help people with mental health challenges, or people who like homeless, or any other like special needs and all the stuff. So and I believe it would be good to have a more collaboration between community services agencies, so we can work together, and especially outreach-based services. And usually, like our outreach workers, they're going outside of the office and going to the parks, to like shelter area and other areas where it's usually people that need help. So I think maybe it's a good idea to do it more outreach based for like to involve this client, like participants to change their life, because they past not define their future. And I believe it's a good idea to be more proactive in this way. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your input. And thanks for running that program. Folks, anyone else? Anyone we haven't heard from yet? Any different ideas? Yep, come on down, ma'am. And for anyone who's just arrived, we're hearing input that wasn't already in the survey, which you maybe not have seen, but any concerns about public safety you want to hear addressed to mayor and council, with the idea of being respectful and not pointing fingers. Go ahead, ma'am.
I'm not much on a public speaker, so it takes a lot for me to get up here. My name is Erin, and I've lived in Williams Lake my whole life, pretty much. I've been a pharmacist here in this community for the last 20 years. I'm a business owner of Shoppers Drug Mart locally, so I can now sort of see both sides. I'm coming at it, as we know, addictions, homelessness is a big part of this. And the state we are in with the provincial drug crisis is different than what we've ever been in. I've been doing this for 20 years. I've given methadone, Suboxone, Cadian, all the things to my patients for 20 years. I have seen a huge change. I have seen people succeed on the programs. I have seen people fall off and fall off and fall off. I have seen, recently, I've had some patients who have been my patients for over 15 years. And with the way I see them now, is so different the way I saw them 15 years ago. Right now, my strongest thing is we don't have the supports. And I know there's a lot of great people out there doing a lot of great work. And as we say, these are people. They are somebody's brother, sister, mother. They deserve that respect. And I try to focus my day every time I treat one of my patients with that level of respect. But I break because our system is broken. We have failed these people. We have failed them in giving them the social supports to succeed in their life. And how do we all come together and do that as a community and get all the community groups together supporting these people? I know there's people in this room that I work with to support these clients, and I know the great work they're doing. And like I say, it's a difficult situation. I'm a business owner, I'm impacted by it as well, right? People say, why do you let them in your business? They steal from you, things like that. But somebody has to help them, right? Somebody has to give them that care, or they're never going to get the help that they need to succeed.
Thank you, Erin, for your input. Again, as you noted, seeing both sides, business owner, but also, treating these folks with respect. Folks, anyone else we haven't heard from? Any different thoughts or ideas that we haven't heard or that you didn't see in the survey? Okay, well, if we're going to wind down, what I would like to do is maybe ask Gary and Brad, is there anything you want to share just from what you've heard tonight? And then we'll go to the elected officials for any comments.
Thank you. Yeah, I want to thank you for coming out tonight. I want to thank everyone who spoke up and had the courage to share their thoughts. I'm a pretty curious fella. And what I mean by that is I like to learn about what's going on so I can find proper solutions that meet the needs of our clients, the detachments, and all of our stakeholders. And that's a challenging thing. But I want you to leave here knowing that the RCMP is here to listen. The RCMP is here to do its part. And we try to be responsive, right? Simple fact is we can't police our way out of unhoused issues. We can't police our way out of issues of addiction. That requires a collaborative approach. And I want you to know that there is a lot of collaboration in this community. We work very closely with our partners at the BC Prosecution Service. We work very closely with our partners at Interior Health. And we've had a lot of success. Some of you may not feel that way, and that's okay. But I want you to know that we will continue to listen and we will continue to do our part. This is not an easy situation, and it's nothing new to Williams Lake. These are issues we've been dealing with across the country. But I need everyone to know that I'm here to listen and I'm here to do my part with my team to help you, okay? We don't have all of the answers, but I will never stop working to try and find them in my realm of responsibility, okay? So thank you for coming tonight, taking time away from your families to be here and to share these things. And that offer stands. Everyone here knows I probably have visited you at your businesses at some point. I've come and met you at the detachment. We'll be here to listen and do our part. Okay, so thank you very much.
Thanks, Sergeant McKinnon. Gary, from a staff point of view, any comments?
Yeah, thanks. So Thanks to everybody for coming out. We are going away to UBCM again here in September, and we've already got meetings set up with the Premier, as well as the Attorney General, Minister of Public Safety, Minister of Health, and that was all in anticipation of what we're going to be discussing today, as well as the survey results. So I've been at all the meetings for the last, 14 years, where with this council, the previous council, Lorne's been in he's been in all of them, just to advocate for our community. And everybody knows what Todd does in Ottawa. So I think it's important for anybody that didn't complete the survey, or those friends that you want to complete that survey, to encourage them to do that, because we really do value the feedback. I know the social agencies that value the feedback. Everybody wants to hear what the community concerns are and look for ways to improve.
Okay. Thanks, Gary. So what I'd like to do for the order of feedback is I'd like to go to MLA Doerkson online if you want to have a few comments, and then MP Doherty, and then councillors, and then last word to Mayor Rather, if that's okay. So MLA Doerkson, do you have any closing comments based on what you heard?
Yeah, I sure do. I think somebody there turned my camera off, so I'm not sure if anybody can hear me. I hope you can. Yeah, thanks very much for that. I want to just thank everybody again. Carl, I heard the emotion both times that you got up. I am so sorry for what's happening to your store. It is a great store. If you haven't been to Kit and Caboodle, go. Angelina, you made some very serious comments about that young person, and I know that that too is a challenge throughout our community. I think it was Nicole, the woman that shared the frustration of our residents. She is spot on. I think residents are feeling helpless, and I just want to make a plea to all of our residents to know that what Gary spoke of, what Staff Sergeant Brad spoke of. That collaboration, that work is never ending. But I really suspect that that individual was right. I think people just feel like they can't make a change anymore. And I want to encourage people to know that you got to keep trying. And finally, I just wanted to say to Ruth Lloyd, fantastic comments. I remember seeing how our community changed during COVID, during the daytime hours when nobody was downtown. And I really think that eyes are police in a lot of ways. And I know that the community during COVID, when so many stores were closed downtown, I was working downtown at that time. It was shocking to me that I would leave, at 3 or 4 in the afternoon and go over, somewhere else in town and see 2 or 3 police incidents going on because there just was nobody around in our downtown core. I know that that's a huge challenge, but I agree with performances in the park and things like that. They bring eyes to the situation. So I agree. And finally to Erin, because I know that Erin obviously has some pretty serious challenges in her location too. I agree with so much of what you said. I'm thankful to this community. I'm thankful for everybody that's in that room and all of the collaboration. It's all great. There are so many people trying to do great work. But I will say this, when it comes to violent crime, when it's serious crime like that, where somebody gets hurt in our community, I really feel that we have to take appropriate steps to deal with individuals that want to continuously cause harm to our people. I know that broken window at Carl's is an expensive window. I know that, but my fear is that somebody is going to get very seriously hurt. And that is where my focus has been. Thanks to everybody that's there tonight.
Okay, thanks, MLA Doerkson, Lorne. Todd, a couple of minutes for comments.
Sure. Thanks for all of you for being here tonight. I did want to say thank you. The reason why I asked about the other agencies that are here on the ground, the grassroots agencies that are on the ground, on the front line supporting our police services, our first responders, the mental health agencies that are here. The reason why I asked about it is because they receive pennies on the dollar from our healthcare transfers. So my message and my plea to this council, as it is to any of the councillors, as well as to our MLAs, is whenever you're talking with our province, please ask them to allocate funds that go directly to our grassroots organizations, because they're on the ground, they're on the front line, they're working in collaboration with our police services. And they literally get pennies on the dollar from our healthcare transfers. The work that we do in Ottawa is to push for the increase of those healthcare transfers, push to make sure that we are viewing mental health in parity with physical health. But when those dollars come to the province divvies them up how they see fit. And that's how we're seeing some of the issues that we're seeing in our communities. You know, the heartfelt comments that we have from Carl, from other business owners as well. We hear that every day, and that level of frustration, it is palpable. You hear it, whether it's here in Williams Lake, 100 Mile, Quesnel, Prince George, Vanderhoof. We hear it all throughout our province, and we have to take back our communities. Somebody said that. We absolutely have to take back our communities, and only by acting as a community and working in collaboration all together at all levels can we do that. So thank you for being here. That's only a start. We got to do more of this and work together. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for being here.
Okay, thanks, Todd. If you can pass it to Councillor Nelson,
I can.
and then Moses, and then I'll give the mayor the last word.
Well, thank you very much. And I just appreciate everybody taking tonight, coming out and on a hot evening and certainly expressing some of your concerns and giving us some good feedback and some suggestions in terms of what to do. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We've got some serious issues. John Dell asked a very good question. We've got in my opinion, we have got some fantastic nonprofit organizations that are government funded that are simply overwhelmed right now. And the government is cutting back the amount of money that they're giving them. This is the foundations that these organizations are trying to help individuals that have got mental issues and are addicted to drugs. And yet the government cuts back the funding. So if you stop and you think about this for a second, we're being held hostage as a community by a select group of individuals that are prolific offenders, that have got some mental issues or they're addicted to drugs, and they can't receive the help that they need. They can't receive the help that they need. And whether that's going to the hospital or going into involuntary care until they are better, and if it takes a week, 5 weeks, 10 weeks, a year, when they do get out, they have to have those services and the wraparound services to ensure that they don't go off the trail again. Carl told a story tonight. I hear that story every single day from a business person. It's terrible. You've got to see this video. The guy is so whacked out, he doesn't know if he's in Timbuktu or in Williams Lake. And he's trying to kick a window in, and he picks up a rock and smashes it. There's problems out there, and we know that. And we know that we need the support of the provincial and federal governments to take this core group of individuals who I give credit to the RCMP, I may be upfront, that catch these guys. They're caught on a regular basis, put into jail or taken to the hospital, and they're freed back onto the community to be looked after by the citizens and these nonprofit organizations. And what do you think they do? Some of these guys have got 100, 200, 300 charges against them. We become the daycare facilities for the province of British Columbia, you and I, and it's causing havoc. So I'm a zero tolerance. I support involuntary treatment. I'm unabashed about it. We've asked the provincial government to put it into our community. In actual fact, Prince George just got awarded, I think, 72 beds. Kamloops is so upset because they've overridden Victoria Street and they're putting a petition together to demand that they have an involuntary treatment center there. We've asked for an involuntary treatment center here in Williams Lake, and the Interior Health kind of sloughed it off and said, well, we're looking to give you 8 to 16 beds by 2029. We said that's completely unacceptable. We don't support that. We've got 10 to 15 people that need to be off the streets right now. This is a safety issue. This is purely a safety issue. Individuals that are walking down the streets carrying knives shouldn't be on the streets of Williams Lake. shouldn't be on the streets of Quesnel. They should be in an institution. Let's be honest. Zero tolerance and tough talk. Yes, you got to be compassionate. There are lots of people out there that need the help, and they are getting the help. But there are some that have to be taken off the streets in order to protect the greater good of the community. And that's just simply the bottom line. And until that happens, it's only getting more dangerous and more dangerous because there's zero consequences for these guys. They get arrested, they get released. The guy that whacked the cop with a bag full of rocks, he was back out on the street within 6 hours. Could you imagine? Imagine having a party at your house and someone gets up and whacks somebody. They'd be thrown in jail. You whack a cop, you're out in 6 hours. There's something wrong with the system. And it's called accountability. These individual silos that we pay for, you and I, we own the system. And change is going to come because we're not going to give up. And it's going to be a positive change that's going to create public safety as the #1 issue. Thank you very much for coming out tonight. And I do want to thank MP Todd Doherty and Lorne, who really have been the backbone for our voice when we hear from individual business owners and homeowners that are struggling, that need our support. We pass it on to these guys as well. They are strong representatives. And I do give the RCMP great credit because they keep arresting and arresting and arresting. And I can only imagine the sense of frustration that they've got. And the final ones I want to thank is the city staff. And I'll tell you why. Because they do a job that I wouldn't even want to do. They go out and they clean up stuff on the streets of the city of Williams Lake, along with the downtown crew, that you don't even want to know about. And it's on a daily basis. They're hired to plant plants, water gardens, not clean up the crap that I don't even want to talk about. So I want to thank the city staff very much. Thank you for coming out. I appreciate it. Zero tolerance. Public safety's first. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Nelson. Councillor Moses.
Thank you. Whoever's controlling the slides, could you switch it to the page that shows 10 in the top right corner? It's the second to last page.
Okay, our tech guy's working on it.
Thank you. Okay, so this page was what is working well and where we see opportunities for further improvement. I just really want to point out that #1 and #2 on here are a lack of adequate mental health services. And this is something that is really hurting our whole province as a whole, or probably our whole country, but I can only speak to what I know right now. And this is something that our MP Doherty spoke about multiple times tonight, is that mental health needs to be treated as importantly as physical health. And we're starting to see what happens when that doesn't occur. Our mental health services have been losing government funding left and right. I work with the Canadian Mental Health Association, the Friendship Center, and a handful of other organizations to help them out in these aspects. And we're all having trouble regaining our funding. We're losing services in our community. And this is at a time where our community is facing the most challenges ever in these regards. So this is unacceptable and needs to be not only rectified, but improved from where it was before. We're going backwards right now instead of forwards. And this, as we know, this is only one aspect of what we need to be doing to improve our community safety. We need to see support and work done from every form of government. We're lucky to have so many of them at the same table today. We need support for all the organizations that are doing the work on the ground. And we need all this to be done in collaboration. And was pointed out earlier that this collaboration can start at the community level, right from every single one of us. The example used was Citizens on Patrol, and this is an organization that patrols our neighborhoods to try to provide an extra pair of eyes for our policing unit. And this is just one of the services that you could volunteer for and do your part in the community. Another one that I'm working on right now to return to Williams Lake is Crime Stoppers. We used to have a Williams Lake Crime Stoppers, and we don't anymore. So I'm bringing that back very shortly here, and hopefully that can be working with the city and with community policing as well. Our work needs to all be done together, right from our neighborhood doors to our federal government and everywhere in between. And that's when we're going to start seeing the changes that we need. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Councillor Moses. Chair
actually-
Wagner from the CRD, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I do, please. Thank you very much. So thank you all so much for coming. I really appreciate seeing you all here. And I want to thank Mayor and Council for inviting myself. I have Director Forseth here as well, who sits on the board. So I want to say, like, as chair of the Cariboo Regional District, I do 40,000 kilometers on my car every year, going out to Anaheim Lake, just up to south of Hickson, down to 83 Mile, and then over fairly close to, well, Lac de Roche, close to Little Fort. And I meet a lot of other mayors in other jurisdictions because I'm also chair of Northern Development Initiative Trust, so I'm out and about with them. But one of the things, so the situation Williams Lake is in is certainly not unique. It is being replicated in communities like Smithers, Terrace, Quesnel, Prince George, like small communities, big communities. And one of the things that I really want to encourage council to do is, so at the Union of BC Municipalities, which is I think it starts around September 14th this year. There's opportunities that we have where we can ask to speak with various ministers, the Premier, whatever. What I would really encourage the city to do is to get together with some other mayors and make a joint meeting with the Premier and with the ministers that you had already mentioned. Because I have done this with other chairs of regional districts. And if you can outnumber the government at the table, it makes them sit up and take notice. So I think if you could really, have other voices that are going through exactly the same thing as what Williams Lake is right now, and, offer us some useful suggestions. Don't just go in there with, well, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, because we all know the province is broke, but offer some solutions as to where you think some improvements can be made. And I can assure you that if you take the time to talk with some of the other mayors, and I know Mayor Rather does do this, I think you would find that it would be helpful to do a collaborative approach at UBCM, and I can pretty much, if you request a meeting with that many people on the local government side, I think you would probably get it. So I just want to encourage that. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Chair Wagner. And the last word to Mayor Rather.
Thank you, Mike, staff, and my regional partner, especially to you all. It's not an easy issue, otherwise we won't be here. I really thank you for your valuable input. I'm looking forward to work on this. We have done lots in the last 3 3/4 years. We got a long way to go yet. It was not an easy decision for this gathering tonight. Like I emailed to my friend Carl today, in response to his email, there's hardly any meeting any day when my office and Mr. Maraka's office don't talk with these issues. I really appreciate everyone's time, contribution. Trust me, I'll work on it. We'll follow on this. The suggestion you made, staff recorded everything. Public safety is the highest priority for me and the council and the city staff. I wish I can show you my heart by saying what I said. We'll hold the senior level of government their feet on the fire. My council is known for that. Your city staff is known for that. We have held the senior level of government. I could only do with the help of not my good friend on my left, Mr. Doherty MP, as well as Lorne Doerkson. These are the excellent representatives in Ottawa and Victoria. We could only achieve by working together with their support, with their help. We took the community back years back. I even forgot, I can't count that far. Dave Dixon would know that. When our city was crime capital and we was missing almost 1.5, 1.75 car a day. Dave was regional manager for the ICBC, if I remember correctly. I was part and parcel of the community policing that time. If we did it that time, trust me, we'll do this time too. Nothing stopped me. Nothing stopped your council. We have covered a lot of topics, a lot of sessions. Like I said earlier, I'm sure everything being recorded, staff is recording. Before we wrap up, I want to thank you once again. If something has been missed, everybody knows my phone number. You can call me anytime. I give you blank check, particularly for the safety of our community. Call me on behalf of Mr. Mraka. Call him anytime. We'll respond to you. Call Mr. Detachment Commander. He'll be there. He has done that. I can't be more thankful than his leadership, what he has done. Quite often, all I do is, before I open my mouth, he knows what I'm asking. 2 weeks back, we was talking, and less than a day, he called me to the CEO's office. Hey, you want to come and release this information, the news? We got 2 people on bike patrol. That has made a difference. That will make a difference, trust me. I want to thank you to you all. I never said I did this. My council did this. The staff did this. No, we all did it, everything we wanted to, by standing together, by working together. I had a firm belief when we stand together, we work together, we will take our community back. That's what I wanted. I can't thank you enough. Once again, thank you very much for your time. If anything hasn't been covered, you got till July 31st. And please call me anytime. In closing, thank you, Todd, coming. And like you can see, he just came from Ottawa, and Mr. Doerkson being in Victoria, it was not possible for him to log in, but he did. I can't speak enough. Thank you to the regional partner. We couldn't do it alone. Thank you to the First Nation leadership. Thanks to my council colleague. Thanks to the RCMP and the city staff, and especially above all to you all. Please ensure you're talking to me, you're suggesting me, you're telling me your ideas. That way we can put all those ideas to the stress test, and whatever works, we will implement it. That's my commitment to you. I need your commitment to work together with me and your council and your staff. Thank you very much and really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor Rather. So that wraps up our info gathering session for tonight. So I have 3 actions for you. The mayor said it, call them 24/7, 24/7. Encourage your friends and neighbors to do this survey. It's open till July 31st. And my last request, take a donut on the way out the door. There's probably going to be a lot left. So thanks everybody for coming out, and take care.